friends. Matt Berry, Christine Williamson here as my bracelet just fell off and onto the
ground. Did it really?
A lot.
Is that really your bracelet?
We have
buy jewelry that fits.
It's been on for like the last 2 weeks, so it's probably ready to get off of me. Okay, so we have a lot to look forward to, looking back at the weekend, and we'll also get you ready for a big Monday Night Football matchup tonight.
My apologies for this. And it's a Monday after a Sunday full of surprises around the NFL. That includes what happened in Chicago and the Cowboys' collapse early evening at Soldier Field. Cowboys have allowed 92 points this season, fourth most through 3 games of the season in franchise history. They failed to reach the playoffs in each of the previous 3 seasons. Caleb had a career day across the board. You know, Bears fans love seeing that, earning his first career game with 4 touchdown passes and no interceptions. So that's fun for them as we welcome senior NFL insider Adam Schefter along with Damian Woody and Mina Kimes is going to join us as well. Damian, I'll start with you. For a team and a fan base starved for any sign of progress, this was a game they desperately needed. What stood out to you most about Caleb's performance?
Yeah, man, I think it was the confidence in which Caleb got rid of the football, the timing and rhythm in the passing game. You know, for Caleb Williams, he didn't have any sacks in the game. That's been something that was a problem with him last year. And I think going up against this Cowboys defense, which is I've said in the early part of the season, it's been an elixir for a lot of quarterbacks. You just really saw him playing with a lot of confidence. He knew where to go with the football. You know, whether it was under center or when he was moving around outside the pocket, he really knew where to go with the football, and he was getting rid of the football. If he can continue that, he'll be in a great spot.
Mina.
Hey, sorry, not in my ear yet. I would agree with Damian. I liked the combination of him and Ben Johnson. We've been seeing this marriage play out the first couple of weeks of the season, and it felt like Caleb had complete faith in the structure of his offense. I mean, guys were wide open downfield. 6 of his 9 targets downfield were to open receivers. But the quarterback has to hit those throws, and he hasn't consistently before. The other thing that really impressed me in this one was his performance versus the blitz. Cowboys figured out pretty quickly they were not getting pressure with 4, which unfortunately is going to be a theme, I think, throughout much of the season. So they were sending extra pass rushers, and Caleb was punishing them. 6 for 7 for 175 yards and 2 touchdowns against the blitz. And on almost every single one of those completions, he hung in the pocket, even as pressure was arriving, waiting for the screen to set up on one occasion. Just a very mature, controlled performance, as well as a play caller who knew exactly where to attack.
Okay, Adam, I want to touch on the other team in this matchup. CeeDee Lamb was limited to 6 plays because of a left ankle injury. What are you hearing about the severity of that injury?
It's a high ankle sprain, and my understanding is it's going to be about 10 to 14 days before they evaluate exactly where he's at with that injury and can determine when he might come back. Again, with high ankles, usually you're sidelined multiple weeks. They're not saying that just yet, but it certainly feels like he's going to miss some time at this particular point in time. Again, field with high ankle sprains, always a little tricky, but they got a big game against the Green Bay Packers on Sunday night. We'll see if he can make it back. Sounds like it's going to be a long shot right now.
Yeah, and the 6 full drives Lamb missed, the Cowboys had the clock run at the end of the half, 2 punts and 3 interceptions. Now, even after a 1-2 start and allowing 92 points in 3 games, Jerry Jones is still optimistic that Dallas will make the playoffs. Take a listen to this.
Is this a playoff caliber team?
The Cowboys?
Yes.
I will tell you, yes. And it's because you saw number 4 out there today, and you saw what I think we're capable of doing in the running game and that type of deal. So, yes, I fully do. Now, we've got to, as we evolve toward the playoffs, we've got to get better defensively, certainly.
Scoring 14 points is never going to be okay. Dang sure not with this offense, this unit, the team, the players that we have. Not acceptable, not to our standard, not anywhere in what we believe in and what we're capable of doing.
Mina, I want to start with you on this one. Damian, you follow up. When you look at this, there's plenty of blame to go around. You can blame the stalled offense. You can blame that porous defense. In your mind, Mina, where does the problem center from yesterday's loss for the Cowboys?
It's the defense. Look, even without CeeDee Lamb, you would like to see that passing attack have a little bit more success against the Bears defense, given what we saw from them thus far this season. But to me, the issues we see with this defense, particularly the pass defense, are ones we have seen all year, ones I think we're going to continue to see. I talked about how they weren't getting pressure with 4. A 15.8% pressure rate when they sent 4 pass rushers or less. That is unsustainable in the NFL, because if you're playing coverage behind that and the way the Cowboys are, they're playing a lot of zone this year, they need someone to get home and and at the moment, no one is. We all know who the glaring absence is on that side of the ball. So that, to me, is going to be the side of the ball that holds them from reaching the playoffs this year. It's the defense.
Yeah, Mina is absolutely correct. This is the defensive side of the football. Again, it is unsustainable when you're just giving huge chunks, huge explosive plays in the passing game. And you can point out a lot of different things. The pass rush, and we know that Michael Parsons has moved on. They can't get to the quarterback. Lack of communication on the back end. But until they fix that, we can't take the Dallas Cowboys serious as a postseason contender.
Adam, we've obviously mentioned his name a couple times now. So Jerry Jones was asked about using some of the draft capital from the Micah Parsons trade to improve the team now. His answer is, I would do it. So what are you hearing about Dallas potentially making some moves?
Well, you're not going to find somebody out there that's going to come in and solve this defense right now. There are just too many holes. They can continue looking, but with each loss that they suffer, and were not for Brandon Aubrey, they'd be 0-3 right now. The value of these picks continues to rise and rise, at least the ones of their own draft picks. Maybe Green Bay's might have some value, but the Green Bay Packers also are rolling. So it's not a great spot. You're not going to go out and just solve your defensive issues. You can look to add defensive players and help at various points. You see the surplus of picks they have. Jerry didn't rule it out, but it's hard to imagine that they're going to be able to find one player that fix all these issues. Again, if they had Micah Parsons, it feels like this defense would be struggling, and they're not going to go out and get a player as good as Micah Parsons right now.
Yeah, which, by the way, you had a chance to address the Micah Parsons thing with a contract. They chose not to. They traded him, and that's where they are, as we think. Damian and Mina, thank you so much. And Adam, I want to stick with you. We had a number of significant injuries yesterday, and early ones as well. Let's start with James Connors right now for the Cardinals. What's the latest you have on him?
This week, according to head coach Brian Schottenheimer, he suffered a high ankle sprain early in the loss to the Bears on Sunday. Lamb's expected to miss multiple weeks, according to reports. Jerry Jones telling reporters Monday that it is possible that the ankle could land Lamb on the injured reserve. We're back joined by Brian McFadden and Emory Hunt, and the Cowboys dropping to 1-2 on the season. And to add insult to injury, will now be without their top receiving threat in CeeDee Lamb. B-Mac, can the Cowboys keep the ship afloat without Lamb?
Well, I think the bigger question would be, could they keep the ship afloat with Lamb? Right? Because of what we saw yesterday in their defense in the last two outings, who knows? You have to score a lot of points. But to answer your question, Kiana, I think they can, and here's why. This is where the move to acquire George Pickens shows up. Because George Pickens is a wide receiver one. But when you play next to CeeDee Lamb will always hold that role because he is him. Now with the injury, you have a proven guy who you can rely on if you're Dak Prescott to get the football to in critical moments. Not to mention, I really love what I'm seeing from Jake Ferguson so far in 3 weeks of play, especially the last two ball games. He has showed up big time in the stat sheet and most importantly becoming another reliable pass catcher for Dak Prescott. So any other world without George Pickens, you don't have CeeDee Lamb, no question, you need to be concerned. I am concerned, but I'm not as concerned as much because we know George Pickens can deliver, especially having a full week preparing in that role as wide receiver one should do him very, very well.
Yeah, everyone slides up a notch when you lose a CeeDee Lamb, so Pickens goes to that number one. Tobin's going to get an increased role, but what I love about what they're going to utilize now, because he's quietly been stepping up big time, is Kevontae Turpin. Yeah. Like, he is someone that you want the football in his hands. He's someone that you kind of utilize in the backfield. That's why it was sort of a shock to see CeeDee Lamb kind of handle that role. But, man, when you have George Pickens, who has elite level hands, I know he dropped an easy one yesterday, but his hands are top notch. It just makes your offense still able to function on pace. But look out for Kevontae Turpin to get more involved as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Got a little bit of depth there, especially you guys mentioning that's why you get a guy like George Pickens. But meanwhile, it's a tough go for the Niners, who are already dealing with a heap of injuries.